Hi, you guys. I just want to kind of put out a word of encouragement. I realize that things here and abroad are getting worse. You know, this pandemic is having lasting impacts. Things are not going to get better. We're at a stage in time where things are just not going to get better. They will get progressively worse, and they have to because like I said, for those of you who have watched my channel, the seal judgments are a representation of what's going to happen after the removal of the stoppers, the peacekeepers. You know, all heck is going to break loose. There's going to be a void filled, and they describe how that void will get filled. And we have this weird notion because people think the days of Noah applies to the church and like things are just going to be hunky dory until, oh, it's time to take them, and then they're not hunky dory anymore. Like it's just going to flip a switch. And that's not how it's going to go. We're going to continue to see things get worse and worse. And if you step outside, like don't be so close to it that you can't see the forest for the trees. Don't lose perspective in everything that's going on. Take a step backward and look at the bigger picture and look at what's going on and say, oh, I can see how that's going to happen on a larger scale once we're gone. Like take Afghanistan and SEAL 2. Now, obviously, that's not what SEAL 2 represents, but on a smaller scale, when all of the peacekeepers left Afghanistan, immediately what happened? Read SEAL 2, Revelation 6. And on a small scale, you can see exactly what happened. Is literally all heck broke loose, and every terrorist organization is going to go there so that they can wreak havoc throughout the world. On a small scale, that's what's going to happen. Now, you take a global impact for the whole group of believers out. You're going to have that on a global scale. That's how that happens. You look at inflation right now, it's manageable still, but it's getting worse. Give it another couple of years because you're beginning to see supply chains fail. So you have inflation because you have a bunch of people wanting things and supplies down. So prices go up because the laws of supply and demand. You have to pay higher wages to get people to work, and there are a whole bunch of job vacancies because the government was paying people to stay home. So these businesses have to overpay people to get them to work and or stay working, and they're of course going to have to pass it on to the consumer. So you see prices rising, and you see the breakdown of supply chains because people are not working because they're not getting paid, or because of the virus stuff, or because they're not being allowed to, or because of all of these restrictions or these mandates or whatever. So that's SEAL 3. On a global scale, on a worse scale, that's the implications of SEAL 3. So I would encourage you guys to not get so caught up in things are horrible, and look at this from an educational perspective and from a revelation perspective. And it's like, this has to happen. And it's going bad, and it's going to get worse, but it's not going to be able to progress past a certain point until we're gone. And that's not going to be too far into the distant future. So it's not that things are going to get better before they get worse. It's that things are going to go bad, and they're going to continue to go bad until such a time as we're removed, and then they get the worst. And we're seeing how that can happen on smaller scales right now to help understand how it'll happen on the mass scale later.